And welcome to a new episode, everybody, of the Consistent Performance Podcast. And today it's about something really awesome. It's about the top 9 lessons that I have learned over the past over 3 years of consistent performance mentoring. The top 9 lessons for you to be able to achieve consistently high performance to grow your business the most efficient way possible, but do so without burning yourself out or without sacrificing other things along the way. Okay. And these are the things I really learned from clients, from other top guys in the field. I've worked with over 100 people by now, and really top guys out there, also beginners, people more far advanced, people with huge teams, and so forth. And so, top 9 lessons. Okay. So, let's get started with the first one. The first one is actually something super smart you can start using right away. And I call it the do something principle. Very often, when you're in the game long term, right, you have some ups and downs of motivation. And on some days, you feel like, I don't want to work on something, right? And there, the do something principle is super helpful because it teaches you to just start with the smallest tasks and start with simply putting in your headphones. Start with something super small as starting your focus playlist. Start with something super small as just pouring in your cup of coffee or your water, or just start opening a document. Very often, the problem is that guys don't start with something small. It holds you back. You're thinking only about the daunting task, how big it is, you're overwhelmed, and so on. It's much smarter to think about just start with something, get some momentum, collect some initiative basically, and then you will start tackling the big tasks as well. Okay, start with something. Super important. Whenever you're lacking motivation, how can you use the 2-minute rule, which says that how can you get started in just 2 minutes or less with something super small? That is super helpful to have like a little checklist of saying, okay, whenever I don't feel like it, I just put in my headphones. I just start focusing music, right? I just drink some cool type of coffee. Another type of trick is you have some essential oils that you spray in the air, which smell good, gives you another focus trigger, right? These are things which help you to get into motion. And then when you start taking action, then the motivation comes. Okay. That's a super interesting tip because you will not be motivated all the time long term, but this is where this has to take over. Okay. This is the first tip out of the 9. The second one out of the tips is good enough. Good enough thinking is so important because if you are thinking black and white, and if you're thinking, oh, either I'm crushing it on a day or I'm not doing anything at all, then you're just having these huge ups and downs in your performance, in your output, and therefore also in how your business is growing. Therefore, if you think more 80-20, if you think more, hey, what is the good enough if I can achieve that today, then I'm already making amazing progress. And what helps there is to think one big thing style. Every day have one big thing that if you were to get this one done, the day would already be awesome. If you think like this, what's my one big thing for today? And you get this thing done, a big needle moving task that is maybe important but maybe not urgent, right? That grows the business, grows the agency, and you block deep work blocks into your calendar for those tasks Monday to Friday. Imagine just Monday to Friday, you get one big thing done every day. Nothing else. We're not talking here 7 hours of work, right? We're talking one huge thing. And you do that consistently over weeks, just super consistent. Imagine how much you're growing your business. Imagine how much you're going forward by one big thing every day. That is a super powerful mindset because, of course, you can still do more at the rest of the day, but you don't put this pressure on yourself because otherwise you fall into the trap of perfectionism, of all or nothing, or I need to do more here, I need to do more there. But you're thinking more 80-20, you're thinking more good enough and implementing the one big thing philosophy, right? Consistent, good enough execution always trumps this, short random spikes and this perfectionism and black or white thinking long term. So that's a super important thing. Number 3 is you got to implement habits and routines. Motivation is not reliable. You need some form of systematized approach. You need to have some form of a structured workday. You need some form of self-organization. And that's not only when you're in your office or in your workspace. No, it's also about how you wake up. The morning you wake up, if you don't have any strategy, any agenda there, any routine, other people's routines will take over for you because you get distracted and you do stuff that you shouldn't do. Same thing in the evenings, right? How you start the morning is largely dependent on your evenings. There as well, you need solid routines. Okay. So, not only for your personal life, the goal there is that you have solid energy, that you start the day right and are not distracted. And then in your business, you can make and should make routines out of those tasks that are needle moving. We're talking deep work routines in the morning so that you actually get the stuff done that moves the needle in your business, be it hiring more people, be it creating SOPs. These are all needle moving things, systems in the business, automatizations that free up time for you so you can focus on the things that move the needle in your business the most. That is super important that you make this into routines. And then, of course, on the other hand, gyms, nutrition, sleep protocols, start of the day routine, also things for your relationships and so on. Super important to make sure you're juggling all of these things. Otherwise, you're just focusing on business. And then you wonder why you don't have energy long term and why you're burning out, because you don't have your nutrition, your energy, your sleep, your movement, your health, and also relationships and the emotional, mental side of things handled. Super important. So if without habits, without systems, without routines, you will not see long-term results. Okay. Point number 4 is about designing your environment. This is the usual thing that most people forget. They hear about routines and so on. But the problem is, and that's what we see all the time in our coaching, people don't have a plan for then implementing those routines. They just, try, oh yeah, I heard in the book, let's do this habit for 21 days. And then suddenly it will be automatic. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. 75 hard, all these things. People might be able to push through and increase their willpower and their mental toughness somehow, but they still don't learn how to build habits properly because it's still relying on willpower. But if you have a plan on how to implement a habit that is bulletproof, then you're going to win. You need to learn the skill of habit building. That's the most important skill ever. And so the crucial component of habit building is environment. If your environment is adapted properly, you're going to win. Because if it isn't, it works. If it doesn't work in your favor, you will always fall back to old habits. You will always fall back to checking the phone, always fall back to checking websites, getting distracted, procrastinating, wasting time in the evening, right? Doing stuff that you know you shouldn't do and that holds you back from growing your business, also from being more productive, being healthier, being more energetic, and so forth, okay? That is super important, that you design your environment, you make it work in your favor, so that you put out the things that trigger you to stick to good habits and to make sure that it's easy for you to do that long term. Super important step. Most people forget that one. Then number 5 is you got to prioritize your health. Seen so many people who are crushing it in business, but then they come to me, Kilian, I have neglected my health for so long, haven't really been consistent with the gym. Doctors are already saying, with that kind of stress, you don't have that many years left actually. And then even say things like, hey, you gotta make sure that you start paying more attention to your health, otherwise you'll burn out. And what's the cost then, man? If you burn out, you're out of the business. The business might even crash depending on where you're at with your business, and you're even it's not worth to you anything, right? If you can't enjoy it, if you can't work anymore at all, and if you don't even enjoy your life anymore. So that's the most important thing, that you make sure your health is on track. Prioritize your health. If you are able to scale your business but burn out along the way, nothing is won from that. Okay, so you got to treat yourself like an athlete. Entrepreneurs are the new athletes, so to speak, right? Which means you got to be like an athlete, taking care of your nutrition, taking care of your sleep, taking care of your movement and your recovery every day, so that when you work, you're like this focused athlete, you're getting stuff done, but then you also have recharging time in the evening. So like your body recovers, your mind recovers, and then boom, next day you can start again. If you're like sitting there at 10 p.m. or 9 p.m. in your office and you're just grinding a bit and you're like totally burned out already, it's like an athlete training and then training more and just training all day. But that's not what they do. They train hardcore a lot, but then they also recover. They go to see the massage guy, right? And make sure that they get their meditation in and take care of themselves and so on. So you got to treat it the same way. Optimize your mind, optimize your body, optimize your recovery, your energy levels, and focus. Okay. Otherwise, long term, you might be able to achieve it, but to what cost, and how sustainable will it be? Number 6, very similar, nurturing relationships. That is so important long term as well. I mean, you can go monk mode, right? And work just only and not have any relationships, no partner, no family, no friends, nothing. The problem with this is, even if you're an introvert, I myself, I am an introvert as well, right? But still, the thing is, you need some form of relationships for your mental, emotional well being. You might be able, again, to achieve success in your business and only to find yourself alone, no relationships, and also long-term happiness is that drastically going to suffer from this. Studies have shown that most people are happiest at the end of their life if they had great relationships, people they felt connected to. And in the end, the regrets of the dying, if you look at this, is like, oh, I wish I didn't work that much. I wish I spent more time with family, with friends, and these types of things. So this is, don't neglect this. We're all for growing business and achieving amazing things, but not with the expense of not having time for anything else and not valuing important relationships in your life. Don't neglect them. You can always make more money, but some relationships, when they're broken, they're broken. So that's super important to take care of that and have that also for support and mental well-being and connection. Okay. 7th point is uncovering your blind spots. I see this all the time, that guys come into our coaching and they feel like they know already a lot. They know a lot about business strategy, had coachings there, right? Been in courses, masterminds, and so forth. But everybody learns that they have some blind spots, some things they didn't know about. And these can be things also about their limiting beliefs about themselves, beliefs they had about in the past, about money, about productivity, about health, about success in general. And only when you are able to have those blind spots uncovered by someone who has this external perspective and asks you questions that you never thought about, only then can you get really deep in understanding what have been the factors that have been sabotaging me. Very often we don't see them. We have saboteurs in our head that everybody has, mental chatter, mental voices, and so on, that tell us stories that are not necessarily true, that only sabotaging us, but we don't see them necessarily because it's kind of normal for us. And so these blind spots, these limiting beliefs, these things, the mental blocks that hold you back, this is something everybody can benefit from. And this is usually what distinguishes the top performers from others. It's not the secret strategy here and there. It's their ability to master their mindset, master their mental toughness, master their mental well-being, and also therefore be able to be consistently executing and stay in the game long term. The persistence, this business is a marathon, not a sprint. And this persistence is the most important thing that comes from really mastering your mindset, mastering the blind spots that you have in your life, and have kind of someone hold up a mirror in front of you so you see your demons, right? And start to face them, start to uncover them, and start to make progress to them. 8th point is, why do you do what you do? Super important thing. Some guys, they get into business, of course, for a number of reasons, right? Making more money. They like also the game of business. They like also building things. They like also to be able to have freedom, right? It's a very big one for most of us guys. We want to have freedom, time freedom to be able to do what we want, when we want. Then also money freedom, right? To afford things, and also location freedom, be able to travel and experience things, the beautiful things that life has to offer. It's really about freedom. But the question is, do you really know what is driving you apart from this? Why do you want to make that much money? How would your life look like? Really getting clarity in how you would spend your life and what really are your values that are driving you to achieving that. Why is that so important? Because you will have times inevitably where you will lose motivation, where you have no clue what's going on. And then you should fall back on the values and reassess your life. Where are you at right now in your life? And this will help you so much to understand what the next decision should be, where you should see yourself in the next 5 years, and so on. So you have a guiding star to work towards, a vision, a long-term vision, where you see yourself, how your life should look like. And that makes you so much more grounded, helps you make much better decisions in your life in general, but also in your business, where you want to take things. Okay, so really have a meaningful vision to strive for, know your values, and really make sure that you're really clear on the most important things in your life and where you're gonna get going forward. And this is something I recommend to actually do monthly, a monthly life assessment, where you cover the most important areas in your life. You review really what is something that you resonate with, what are your values, which life areas have you been neglecting, and also what are the things that truly make you happy. And you always adjust your habits and your life according to that, so you never lose track, because success is not like this one-time thing. It's a constant course correction. We're always getting off track. It's like this analogy of when they went to the moon with the rocket, they've been off course like most of the time, but they've always done course corrections, always little course corrections, a bit north, a bit west, and so on. And then inevitably they end up at the right point. But you got to make those course corrections. And this isn't a habit in itself, right? Monthly assessments, weekly reviews, quarterly planning, yearly reviews, and so on. Super important point to do. And then ninth and final point is remembering that you are mortal. And that's, one of my favorite exercises. If you watch the video right here, you see a book. This book is called The Daily Stoic. I don't know if you guys know it. It's a great book. I've been reading this for years and immersing myself into Stoic philosophy a lot. And the idea is that remember that you're mortal is the saying in Latin, memento mori, remember that you will die, remember that you're mortal. And this should give you the sense of urgency, that you will die. We will all die one day at some point. Can be sooner, can be later. And it's really about that, as Steve Jobs said, in the face of death, everything else all the worries we have, all these tiny things will wash away. Kind of, he says, we're already naked, right? There's nothing to lose. Just follow your values, follow the path that leads you to build a life that you really resonate with. Don't waste your time with bullshit. Just build a life that you find super epic, and spend your time on the things that really truly make you happy and that you also know that bring you forward long term. Okay, so this is a cool reminder to spend your time wisely. You can have a little reminder in your vision board about this, or you have a reminder in your monthly assessment to remember this and check it, because life's short, so don't waste it. Final point I want to say about these 9 points is, don't beat yourself up if you don't manage to live up to all of those all the time, right? It's totally normal that we get off track sometime and we don't do the things we know we should be doing. That's normal. That's life, right? Nobody's perfect. Neither me nor anybody else, even though, we're coaching this. But there's one big difference. And the big difference is, how quickly do you get back on track when something happens? Does it take you weeks? Does it take you even longer if you have an emotional setback, a business setback, family setback, health setback? Or are you someone who has so good habits and so good routines and systems in your life that when something happens, or even travel, right, you get back on track in a matter of days only, super quickly, because it's super second nature for you already? And that is the thing you should ask yourself. Are you set up that you can allow yourself setbacks, because you bounce back quickly, right? You're the one, you get knocked down, but you stand up quickly because you have the reps, you have the experience, and you know that with your habits, with your systems, and with your shift in your identity, you have the power to what it takes to get back on track quickly. And that is a quote by James Clear, where he says, you should be far more concerned with your current strategy and your current trajectory than with the current results that you're getting. And so the trajectory here especially is super important, because very often it's about putting in the work, putting in the reps, and you're not seeing necessarily all the results, because a lot of these things are lagging variables, right? You have a lead indicators that you do things right now. Let's say you're putting in deep work for weeks and months, but only it will pay off weeks and months down the line, maybe even years down the line. Okay. And some things you see quick results, that's true. But for a lot of other things, be it with your health, with the gym, with the business, the deep work, the building those important things in your business, that takes time. And so you should measure yourself towards the trajectory that you're on. Is it upward going or downward, which they say also in the book, The Slight Edge? It's either upward facing your life or downward facing. There is no in between. You're either growing or you're dying. What curve are you on? Are you on the upward curve? Do you have the right habits in place? If yes, time works in your favor. You just got to be patient and keep doing your habits, what you've always been doing. If you don't have good habits, don't have good routines, time works against you. The slight edge starts to compound against you. You're going downward the curve. Think about this. Which curve are you on? Are your habits and your systems and your whole identity, your routines, the way you show up as a person, as a business owner now, is that giving you the upward trend, or is that having you go down the downward trend? That is what you should be concerned about your trajectory, and that is decided by your current philosophy, by your attitude, but also by the habits and actions you do daily. Okay, make sure this is in line. Make sure if you don't have that fixed, that you get it fixed. I hope that was helpful for you guys. If you want help on this, so you can get on this upward journey, and so you can actually have habits that support you, so you get back on track quicker and that you show up the most efficient way possible in your life, well, then go to kilianmarkert.com and apply for your first free discovery call, where we dive together into how we can implement a strategy for your specific situation right now to make sure we implement a plan for you to improve all of those things, master your daily performance, so you grow your business the most efficient way possible, and at the same time do so without neglecting your health or burning out along the way. Hope that was helpful for you guys. Head to kilianmarkert.com and then going to see you on our call or in the next episode.